1. Introduction. My name is Gina. I live with my husband, Patrick, in a big house. We have been married for 5 years. Our house is beautiful, but there is one room I do not like. It is Patrick's study. He always keeps the door locked. He says it is his private space, a place for work. I have always respected this. But lately, I feel something is wrong. For the past few months, Patrick has spent more and more time in his study. He goes in after dinner and often stays very late at night. Sometimes I hear strange noises from the room. It might be soft music or quiet voices. I cannot be sure. When I ask Patrick about these noises, he quickly gives an answer. He says he is on a work call or listening to a program. But his eyes do not meet mine, and he changes the subject quickly. This makes me feel he is not telling the full truth. One evening, I waited until Patrick was asleep. I walked quietly to the study door. The door was old and heavy, made of dark wood. I tried the handle. It was locked, as always. I put my ear against the cold wood. I listened, but I could not hear anything. The room was silent. I felt a little scared. My mind had many questions. What was he hiding in there? The next day, I tried to talk to him again. "Patrick," I said, "I feel you are hiding something from me. You spend all your time in that study. Why must you lock the door?" He looked at me. I saw a quick flash of anger in his eyes, then it was gone. He said, "Gina, you are thinking too much. It is just my office. I need to be alone to work. That is all." But I did not believe him. His answers did not make me feel better. My suspicion grew stronger every day. I knew I had to find out the truth. I had to discover what was behind that locked door. My peace depended on it. I could not live with this secret any longer. 2. The key. My obsession with the study room grew stronger each day. I could not stop thinking about it. What secrets did Patrick keep inside? This question was always in my mind. I walked past the locked door many times. I tried to see something through the windows, but the thick curtains always covered them. I knew I had to find a way in. I started my search for a spare key. I thought Patrick might have a second one hidden somewhere. I began in our bedroom. I opened every drawer in his dresser. I looked through his socks, shirts, and other clothes. There was no key. I checked under the bed and behind the curtains. Still nothing. Next, I went to the living room. I searched in the drawers of the coffee table. I looked under the sofa cushions. I even checked the shelves of books, thinking he might hide it inside a book. The search took a long time, but I found nothing. My hope started to fade a little. I moved to the kitchen. I opened all the cupboards and drawers. I looked among the plates, cups, and cooking tools. I searched every box of old things we kept there. It was a big house, and there were many places to look. I spent hours, but the key was not there. I even looked in Patrick's pockets. When he was in the shower, I quietly went into the bathroom. I checked the trousers and jackets he had worn that day. I felt a little bad doing this, but I needed to know. The pockets were empty. I felt very frustrated. It seemed impossible to find it. One afternoon, I was cleaning the hallway. I moved a small rug near the study door. My eyes saw something different on the floor. There was a loose floorboard. It was not completely flat like the others. My heart started to beat faster. Could this be it? I knelt down and carefully touched the board. It moved a little. I found a small knife from the kitchen. With shaky hands, I slowly lifted the floorboard. Underneath, in the dark space, there was something small. I reached my hand in. It was a key. It was old and made of dark metal. A small red ribbon was tied around it. I pulled it out. It was small, but it felt heavy in my hand. This must be the key to the study. I looked at it for a long moment. This was my chance to find out the truth. I held the key tightly. I knew I had to wait for the perfect time to use it. 3. The secret room. That evening, Patrick told Gina he had to go out for a business dinner. He said he would be home late. As soon as he closed the front door, Gina felt her heart beat faster. This was her chance. She walked quickly to the study door. Her hands were shaking a little. She held the small, old key tightly. She put the key into the lock. It moved smoothly, making a soft click. Gina took a very deep breath. Her mind was racing. What would she find behind this door? Then, slowly, she pushed the door open. The room was a big surprise. It was not at all what Gina expected. It was not an office. It was a beautiful bedroom. The walls were painted a deep, warm red color. The floor had a thick, soft rug. In the middle of the room, there was a large, elegant bed with 4 tall posts. Soft, silk sheets covered the bed. On a small wooden table next to the bed, there was a shiny silver tray. On the tray, 2 empty wine glasses waited. Next to them, an unopened bottle of champagne sat quietly. The air in the room smelled sweet, like old flowers. But the most shocking part was not the furniture or the color of the walls. The walls were full of paintings. There were many of them, perhaps more than 20, and they were all of her, or they looked exactly like her. Some were paintings of her face, showing every detail. Others showed her whole body. She was in different places. In one painting, she stood in a sunny garden, wearing a light blue dress. In another, she walked on a white sand beach, with the ocean behind her. In a third, she danced in a grand ballroom, wearing a long, sparkling gown. In every single painting, the woman who looked like Gina seemed very happy and free. A big smile was always on her face. Gina felt a strange, cold feeling move through her body. These paintings showed her, but they were not her memories. Gina had never been to these beautiful gardens or walked on those beaches. She had never danced in such a grand room. She did not own these fancy clothes. She did not remember any of these moments. She looked closely at each painting, trying to find a mistake, a difference. But the face was always hers. It was her eyes, her hair, her smile. Then her eyes caught something small in the corner of one painting. It was a signature, written in a delicate, careful hand. She moved closer and read the words. It said, "For my dearest Alara." Gina read the name again. Alara. Who was Alara? Why did this name appear on paintings of a woman who looked exactly like Gina? A woman who was not Gina. Her head started to spin. The secret room was not just a place Patrick hid. It was a place that held a deep secret about her. A secret about Alara. Gina felt a mix of fear and confusion. The beautiful room now felt like a cage. This discovery changed everything she thought she knew about her life, about Patrick, and about herself. She stood in the middle of the room, surrounded by the many faces of Alara who looked just like her, and knew her life was about to change forever. The diary. My head was spinning. I felt very confused and scared. Many questions filled my mind. Who was this woman, Alara? And why did she look exactly like me? It was impossible. I looked at the paintings again, trying to find an answer. But there was no answer on the walls. I needed more information. I started to search the room carefully. I looked in every corner, under the bed, and inside the wardrobe. My heart was beating fast. I needed to find something, anything, to explain this strange secret. Then I saw a small table next to the large bed. It had a drawer. Slowly, I pulled the drawer open. Inside, I found a small book. It was a diary made of dark leather. It looked old. My hands trembled as I picked it up. I opened it and started to read the first pages. The words inside were written in a familiar hand. It was Patrick's handwriting. I recognized it immediately. My stomach felt cold with a strange fear. The diary was full of his thoughts. It was all about a woman named Alara. He wrote about his deep love for her. He described how they met. He wrote about their happy times together, their laughter, and their shared dreams. He described her beauty, her kindness, and her spirit. He wrote about their plans for the future. But then the entries changed. He wrote about how Alara had suddenly disappeared. One day, she was simply there. The next day, she was completely gone. He wrote about his deep sadness and how much he missed her every single day. He looked for her everywhere. He never stopped searching for his lost love. The diary showed his pain and his strong hope. I read on, my eyes moving quickly over the pages. Then I reached the very last entry. It was dated just 1 week before our wedding day. I held my breath again. The words were clear and shocking. "I have found her," Patrick had written. "She does not remember me, but I will make her remember. I will build a new life with her, a life she truly deserves." I dropped the diary. It fell onto the floor with a soft sound. My mind could not process these terrible words. I was Alara. Or, at least, Patrick believed I was. Was this why he had married me? Was our whole life together a complete lie? The beautiful house, our 5 years of marriage, everything I thought I knew. It felt like a terrible dream. I felt a terrible, cold fear spread through me. This was not just a secret room. This was a secret life. And it was mine. 5. The confrontation. I was still in the secret room when I heard Patrick's car in the driveway. He was home. I quickly put the leather diary back into its drawer. I closed the door and locked it. I tried to act normal. I wanted to hide what I knew, but it was very hard. My hands were still shaking. My heart was beating fast. Patrick came into the house. He walked into the living room. I could not wait. My voice was not strong, but I spoke. "I know about Alara," I said. He stopped walking. His face lost all its color. He looked very pale. He tried to speak, but no words came out. "I found the key," I continued, my voice a little stronger. "I saw the room. I read your diary." My eyes looked directly into his. He looked away for a moment. He tried to deny it. He said, "Gina, what are you talking about?" But his voice was weak. He knew I had found the truth. He could not lie anymore. He sat down slowly on the sofa. He looked very sad. He started to tell me everything. He told me he met a woman named Alara many years ago. They fell in love quickly. Their love was deep and strong. They planned their future together. But Alara had a big problem. She had a dangerous ex-boyfriend. This man would not leave her alone. Then, one day, Alara disappeared. She was just gone. There was no note. There was no explanation. Patrick looked for her everywhere for a long time. He thought the ex-boyfriend had something to do with her disappearance. He searched for many years. He never stopped looking for his lost love. Then he saw me. He told me I looked exactly like Alara. He believed it was a sign. He thought it was a second chance for him to be happy. He came to me. We started to spend time together. We fell in love. He married me. But he never told me about Alara. He was very afraid. He thought I would leave him if I knew. He hoped that one day I would remember my past life. He hoped I was Alara and that my memories would come back. He thought our life together was a new start, but for him, it was a way to bring Alara back into his world. He finished his story. The room became very silent. I did not know what to say or think. 6. The truth, I did not know what to believe after Patrick's shocking story. My mind was full of questions. Was I really Alara, a woman from his past? Had I lost all my memories of that life? Or was this just a strange and painful coincidence that looked like the truth? I felt very confused and scared. I knew I needed to find the real truth about my own past, not the past Patrick wanted me to have. I started my search right away. I called my parents first, trying to keep my voice calm. I asked them many questions about my childhood and my life before I met Patrick. They told me stories, saying I had always been Gina. Their words did not help my confusion. Next, I talked to my old friends. I asked them about our time together, about school, and about any big events I might have forgotten. They shared many memories of holidays and funny moments. But when I asked about specific years, especially in my early 20s, I felt a strange emptiness. Those parts of my life were blank pages. There were years missing from my memory, entire periods I could not recall clearly. It was a frightening feeling, like a big piece of my own history was gone. With a heavy heart, I searched online. I typed different words into the computer, hoping to find anything about old car accidents or disappearances from years ago. I spent hours looking at old news websites and public records. It was a long and difficult search, full of dead ends. Then, late one evening, I found something. It was an old news story, hidden deep in the digital archives of a local newspaper website. The headline read, "Woman found unconscious after car accident, identity unknown." My heart began to beat very fast, like a drum in my chest. I clicked on the article quickly. It described a serious car accident that had happened many years ago. A young woman had been found unconscious on the side of a quiet country road. She had no identification papers with her. The article explained she had suffered a severe head injury. Doctors said she had amnesia, meaning she had lost her memory completely. She could not remember who she was. The article included a small, grainy picture. It was a photo of the woman in the hospital bed. My breath caught in my throat. The woman in the picture was me. It was a younger me, with a bandage around her head, but there was no doubt. It was my face. I looked at the date of the accident mentioned in the article. It was the exact same day Patrick had told me Alara had disappeared from his life. This was not a coincidence. All the scattered pieces of the puzzle were slowly, terribly, falling into place. The missing years in my memory, the amnesia, the precise date, and the undeniable picture of myself. It all pointed to one unbelievable, life-changing truth. I was Alara, and my whole life with Patrick had been built on a lie. 7, the escape. Everything was clear now. The many pieces of the puzzle fit together perfectly. The years I could not remember, the strange feeling that parts of my life were missing, and the old news article, it all made sense. I was Alara, the woman Patrick loved, the woman who had disappeared so long ago. The woman he had been searching for with all his heart. But this truth brought a cold, hard feeling to my chest. Patrick did not love me, Gina. He loved Alara, a memory, a ghost from his past. He had found me not because he loved me for who I truly was in the present, but because I looked exactly like her. He had married me, hoping I would remember a life that was not truly mine anymore. He wanted to turn me back into Alara, to make me live her life. I felt a deep sadness, but also a growing anger inside me. He had lied to me from the very beginning. Our whole life together, our marriage, was built on a terrible untruth. He had tried to manipulate me, to make me into someone else entirely. This was not love. This was a powerful and unhealthy obsession. I knew then that I could not stay in this house, in this marriage anymore. I could not continue to live a life that was not my own. I had to leave, and I had to leave now. My decision was firm and unchangeable. I went to our bedroom and pulled out a large suitcase from the closet. My hands moved quickly and with purpose. I packed only the things I truly needed for a new start: some basic clothes, my small amount of money, and my phone. I did not take anything that reminded me of Patrick or the life we had shared in this house. Those things belonged to Alara or to the big lie he had created. Then I walked into the kitchen. I found a clean piece of paper and a pen. My heart felt heavy with sorrow, but my mind was clearer than it had ever been. I wrote a short note. It was not a long letter with many explanations. There was nothing more to say to him. I simply wrote a few words. I know who I am now, and I am not your Alara. I left the note carefully on the kitchen table, where he would surely see it. The silence in the house felt very loud, almost screaming at me. I walked to the front door, my small bag held tightly in my hand. I looked back at the house one last time, the place I had called home for 5 years. It felt like a prison now, a cage built by a lie. I opened the door and stepped outside into the cool night air. I got into my car without hesitation. I started the engine. I did not look back again, not even for a second. I drove away from the big house, from Patrick, and from the past he wanted me to live. I drove for a very long time with no clear destination in mind. I just knew I needed to be free. I needed to start a new life, a life that was truly mine. A life where I could be Gina, or whoever I chose to be, without anyone else's past defining me. I was leaving the old me behind and driving towards an unknown future, but it would be my future alone. 8. A new beginning. 1 year has passed since I left my old life behind. The road I took led me to a small town by the sea. It is a peaceful place, very different from the big house where I once lived. Here, the air smells of salt, and the sound of waves helps me sleep at night. I found a small house with a blue door and a small garden. It is my home now, and it feels truly mine. I chose to keep the name Gina. It was my name before Patrick's strange story, and it feels right to use it again. It reminds me of who I really am, not who someone else wanted me to be. It is a name that means freedom and a fresh start. Every morning, I wake up feeling light, without the heavy secrets of the past. My new job is at a local bookstore. I love being surrounded by books. Each book holds a different world, a new adventure. I help people find stories, and sometimes they help me find new parts of myself. The work is calm, and the people I meet are kind. They do not know about Alara or Patrick or the locked room. They only know Gina, the woman who loves books and the sea. I have made new friends here. There is Sarah, who works at the coffee shop next door, and Tom, who owns the small fishing boat. We often share simple meals and laugh together. They are good people, and they accept me just as I am. It is wonderful to have friends who know the real me, the person I am today, not a memory from long ago. I am happy now. It is a quiet happiness, a deep calm that settles in my heart. The fear and confusion are gone. Sometimes a thought of Patrick comes to my mind. I wonder if he ever understood why I left. I wonder if he is still looking for Alara. But those thoughts do not stay long. They are like small clouds that pass quickly across the sky. I am not Alara. I am Gina. I am a woman who has found her own way. My past is like a closed book. My future is an open page, and I am holding the pen. I am writing my own story now, filled with peace, new friendships, and the gentle sound of the sea. This is my new beginning.